here we go. Andre up once again, tucking into the barrel. He's got a good line through this one. And he squeaks out through the bottom of this wave. Kalohe goes to the rail and really leans hard.
Kersey's got a wide open pit. Nice indeed. Kersey looking for the exit, and he's got it.
Look at this wave. Unbelievable for the Brazilian. And just bashing away relentlessly at this wall. Now stalling for the barrel. And finishes the wave with a clap. Felipe Toledo straight into the barrel now. This wave is holding open. He's got to get out of here at some point. Just working the crowd now.
Our first 10 so far in this event from Felipe Toledo. He backed it up with a 9.6.
Well, here we go, having a look at Zeke now, and climbs up. High line into this barrel. He's got to stomp on the tail.
What a beautiful morning sunrise once again here at Jeffreys Bay in South Africa, here for stop number 6 of the World Surf League Championship Tour, the Corona Open JBay, a former world champ, a former winner at JBay at a QS level, De Souza already in a jersey to take on Joan Duru. Positive signs of a quick start. There is a buzz in the air this morning with solid sets already coming through and a quick decision from the commissioner's office to get things started. Duru mesmerized by the lines here at Jeffreys and looking for a rematch against De Souza from the QS final back in 2012. Eyeing his lineup, picking his sets. That's going to be a glorified day today. We're already so excited, and everybody outside is on their feet, and the feeling inside the booth is sky high with two legends of the sport, Joe Turpel, world champs Martin Potter, Sean Thompson. Potts, we couldn't get this thing started quick enough. The waves are looking amazing right now. Absolutely amazing. I mean, the swell looks like it's stuck around. That wind, we don't have that devil wind like we had yesterday. So good news for us, it's on, and we've got a great heat to start off with. I can't wait. I mean, I was completely drained yesterday from watching just wave after wave peel down this line, but today we've got more of the same. Sean, yesterday we were celebrating our first 10 and Toledo's performance. Looking at the size of the surf today, what are your expectations out of the world's best?
Well, as they say in South Africa, cooking brew. I think today we're going to see 4 10s. I'm throwing down that prediction right now. Okay. Some of the surfing that went down yesterday was absolutely groundbreaking. Felipe Toledo's heat was mind-blowing. I thought John Florence in that first round had taken it to the maximum level, but what Toledo showed us yesterday was incredible. And today we had so many guys that can win this event. I don't think I've watched an event where so many guys can win it. I mean, you have the veterans, you've got Joel and Mick and Adriano, Geordie, then you've got the kind of new crew, John and Felipe Toledo, then you've got the whole goofy foot pack, Matt Wilkinson, Gabriel Medina, Owen Wright. I mean, it's like, who's gonna win?
A little taste of the conditions on what's on offer today. Commissioner's office already calling a massive day for round 3, hoping to complete round 4 as well. That's why we're getting the quick start and a nice little warm-up wave out front. Wow. Brilliant conditions. Still early in the morning as the sun comes up, and now Potts and Sean, the tough news yesterday was getting the news in that Kelly had broken his foot pulling into a barrel at Boneyards, and a really bad break as well. People are predicting early he could be out for at least 6 weeks. The hardest part for Kelly was knowing that today was going to be pumping Potts and he wouldn't be part of the draw. Yeah, I think that hurt him more than the injury, really. But you know what, Kelly's he's fit, he's healthy, he's got a positive attitude. I think he's going to bounce back from this. But you know, the hard part for us is to not see him surf here today, and quite possibly out for Chopu, where he's the defending champion as well. So fingers crossed that he gets himself back on track quickly. It is such a gift to have Kelly still in the draw. 45 years of age, 11 world titles, still dedicated to trying to upset the world title race and be a part of it as well. Sometimes his injuries in the past have brought him some good. We've seen him get more fired up, sometimes even surfing through injury to do heroic things. I know, Sean, probably his goal is to be able to surf in the Pipe Masters at the end of the year. Yeah, 6 weeks I think is very ambitious. I mean, it looks like that break has actually separated from the toe. So, wow. You know, hopefully he can get back in 6 weeks. But certainly he wants to look for that
big showing at Pipeline Masters, and we all wish Kelly the best, man. We want him back on tour and back continuing to break this age barrier.
So looking at the draw, that'll mean Felipe Toledo with a bye into round 4. We'll kick things off round 3, heat number 1. What a classic on paper. A world champ in Adriano de Souza taking on rookie Joan Duru. We were hyping up this heat because it was the final back in 2012. The CT took a hiatus, so the qualifying series scored beautiful conditions. Joan Duru almost came close to a win. It was de Souza's day. De Souza, full-time on tour back then, but never wanted to miss a session at JBay, and he could call himself a champion.
You know, what I love about Adriano is he has that warrior mentality. I mean, he's a guy that always surfs to maximum capacity in a heat. It's not like, you know, he's got this performance level, and in a heat he's trying to attain that same performance level. You know that every wave he gets, he's going to surf at maximum capacity, and he just loves to put everything he has into every wave. I saw him a couple of years ago when he had that, I think it was a semi-final at Bells against Mick, and he needed like a 8.67, and he kicked out, and he only got an 8.5, and he was exhausted lying on the ski because he gave it everything, and that's what I love. He just gives it everything.
Yeah, the thing I like about de Souza is that he was here 2 weeks before the event started, so you know, he's got his board sorted out, he's acclimatized, he's a student of the game. I mean, you know, if there's something missing in de Souza's game, he works on it, so there's no gaps there. And I think that's why he's a world champion, and I think there's many more to come for the guy.
He has that humility to learn. You know, when he knocked on Jamie O'Brien's door at Pipeline and said, can I stay with you and learn?
That was a big statement. De Souza looks like he wants to get this one started. Always loves to control the start of these matchups. Now out front, that clean, crispy morning car for de Souza to kick off the day. Wraps it into the morning light. Nice draw off the top for the former world champ as Duru gets started. De Souza packs the barrel, he's out. Another section for Adriano. Looks like he's flying for the finish. What a glorious opening wave to kick off what's going to be an incredible day at Jeffreys Bay.
Oh my goodness, Joe, and right behind him.
Duru still on that same opener. It's getting nice and hollow, plenty of sand here. Beautiful backside tube riding technique from the Frenchman. Will he come out? Duru still trying to channel the exit, and he gets it.
Wow.
Right into a hack.
It's going to be a tube
inside corner. So one of the best opening exchanges we've seen in a long time.
Well, you know what? Normally, when a heat starts, when the Kieran Perot gets, okay, we're on. It's been pumping all morning. Normally, there's a little bit of a break. Normally, the ocean goes a little quiet for a little period of time. Not today. Today, it's just on fire from the get-go.
What I loved about both of those waves was the pacing. Neither guy was hurried. It looked like both of them had all the time in the world. And it's wonderful to see now that they've had a couple of sessions in at JBay that they're starting to understand that pure line, starting to understand that speed principle. And just like every maneuver was counting and every positioning up in the barrel was counting. And that double tube ride of Adriano's was awesome. And then Joan Duru with that long barrel through that impossible section.
Sean, you said it the other day, especially with guys like Mick and Joel, where they're going at such a speed that everything slows down for them. I mean, JBay's that kind of wave, right?
Definitely. You can see the guys that are experienced here are very, very unhurried. They have it all under control. What a searing carve off the top. Kind of a mid-face turn there. Looking for that vertical re-entry. Looking for that lip, looking for that. Let's see what he does here. Another kind of speed carve. Not a very high scoring wave at this stage, but it's all going to be set up for that inside racetrack section.
I mean, look at this section through the inside here. Impossible, starting to become possible with that sand, Sean. Seen some great waves. You said 4 10-point rides today. Could be 5 or 6, I reckon. After watching what we've just seen here in the opening exchange. Beautiful tube stance.
What a beautiful technique. I mean, super low to his board. You know, maintaining the control right across the rail line, not just on the tail. And it'll be interesting to see how the judges reward that and compare it to Adriano's wave.
I think Joan Duru's wave, Joan Duru's wave was a better start to it. You see how de Souza, a little bit of fumble there to kick things off, milked his way around, and most of the scoring potential was down the line, whereas Joan Duru got a quicker start to his wave, even though there wasn't a lot done. There's that trademark bottom turn, top turn combo. And as you said, no hurry whatsoever. Just that perfect pace that we love in JBay. Sun shining through the wave. Just epic conditions here this morning. And De Souza pulls in behind the section. And again, that double barrel comes flying out and finishes off nicely.
I think, you know, what judges are looking for over the years in deep barrels or riding tubes is they're looking for that uncertainty factor. A guy's on the tube and is he going to make it? Isn't he going to make it? And boom, he comes flying out. That's when they get the real high scores. Where if a judge is looking and going, oh, he's going to make it, he's going to make it, he's going to make it, it doesn't seem like they get the very big boost in scores that as a surfer you want.
So you're thinking those speed line barrels without slowing down, jamming up behind the section, just flying through it, I think are way more dynamic as opposed to the ones where they have to slow down and manufacture.
Exactly, yeah. And it's that moment of uncertainty. Is he going to make it? Isn't he going to make it? Boom, the guy comes flying out with a spit and the judge writes down that 1-0.
What a beautiful exchange to kick off the morning here in round 3, heat number 1. We had a lot of anticipation on the matchup, but mainly on the swell forecast from Surfline, living up to the expectations. And out of the gates, De Souza locks in some beautiful lines and a finish, and Duru answers immediately. That's what you want to see out of the world's best. Opportunity for both athletes, both at the top of their game. Noticing the time now it's taken to get back into position. Wave selection seems even more crucial. And also the fatigue factor on a day like today, Potts. What are we looking at?
Well, I mean, it's what we've done all our career, isn't it, Sean? No jet ski assist for us. So basically, you're using the paddle back out to regain, you know, just to take that breath, to get yourself back in the zone. Even though you're using energy, you're not really. You're sort of almost recovering on the way back out. These guys obviously used to those jet ski assists, but not this time round. So by the time they get back out the back, they should be ready to rock and roll again. We're
already passing the 4.5-minute mark, paddling back out. So you can see, making a decision on a long ride out here, you basically need to get a score out of it. You can't afford to kick out of your wave and not get the number you're looking for.
Exactly, because you're most probably going to end up wasting about, I would say, about 6.5 minutes per ride. It's a long way down. The guys are riding for about most probably 250, 300 yards. And then you've got that long paddle back. So it's a lot of time elapsed. So you better make sure that wave counts. What I like about what both guys are doing is they're paddling back up into the lineup as opposed to sitting just on that end section like the guys were doing yesterday. You know, yesterday it seemed like they were riding just sort of that end point in the ride. Today they really want to go for the complete ride.
Well, I think with the swell the way it is too, though, it's offering those guys to be able to sit further up the point, whereas yesterday it was almost those waves that sectioned it a little bit.
Definitely, yeah. Yesterday was more, I think, compact and contained, whereas today it's more representative of the true JBay experience, that wide, long, running endless wall.
Wow. So opening numbers are in. De Souza 6.83, just a bit better from the rookie Duru. A 7.67 with plenty of time on the clock here in round 3, heat number 1. We're all in store for a beautiful day. Sean Thompson, thanks for joining us on this morning warm-up, and I'm looking forward to hearing your calls from the field. Thank you so much for coming in.
Well, it's great to be here, and I mean, what a privilege and an honor it is for me to sit here with you guys and watch the best surfers in the world bust down performance barriers. I think we're going to see some incredible surfing today, truly see some performance barriers are broken down. I think waiting to see Philippe and waiting to see Joel and waiting to see all these guys. I'm so excited, man. I feel like a grommet.
Thank you so much, Sean. Sean will be catching up with us throughout the day, getting all the insights on positioning from about this perspective, what you're looking at right now.
Oh my gosh.
Up at the top of the point. Duru getting the 7.67, De Souza 6.83. So Juan getting the second wave, was able to get the better number in a rematch from the QS final back in 2012. They're getting even better waves for this matchup, and Duru's up again. Set up carve off the top to get down the line. Duru punches it through the lip. Reappears into the open face. Nice easy timing and pace to get his backup score. And explodes off the lip. Perfect timing from Duru. Another top turn jam into the sunrise. down the inside corner for one beautiful hack.
Wow.
What an amazing start for Duru, coming off a huge roll at Fiji, getting his personal best results, and feeling that momentum in a place where he's found success. Duru's loving his job today, Potts.
Joe, it is absolutely pumping today. That forecast has not let us down this time round, which is unbelievable. Great way to start. Joan Duru coming out on top with that first exchange. 7.67, and the goofy footers are going to be rubbing their hands together watching that go down. It's going to give them a little bit of confidence coming up against the natural footers. The bigger JBay is, the better it is on your backhand, and this is what we're talking about. Joan Duru taking out the first exchange now, just trying to capitalize with wave number 2. Coming off a 5th place in Fiji, which is giving him a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum, a lot of sense of belief. Beautiful turn right there from Joan Duru. Look at the pace of the wave. That's what you want here this morning. You want to find those ones where you're not rushed. You can set it up, show some variety. There's a lot of open face, so you can just really connect with the lip or slash underneath it, use the rail. There's just so many opportunities, so many options. And the water shot that Strider's going to be looking at all day long, it's going to be driving him nuts. Looking at these beautiful waves peel down the point here at Jeffreys Bay, and Sean hit the nail on the head by saying the true JBay experience, Joe. This is a wave from top to bottom, all the way from the top of the point, all the way down. And it seems to me like
Just thinking about the ski there, the pickup, Potts, as he got on the back there. We'll keep you posted on that call. And we're getting the thumbs up. They're all communicating to him from the judges' tower. There's a certain distance that they can be, and he'll have a drop-off point, and then he has to paddle on his own right.
The rest of the way.
So we'll give you that official call in a moment, but there's a certain section that he can be brought to, and then from there he's going to be on his own paddle power. On a day like today, we are happy about that decision because we want to see these surfers spend more time on the wave, absolutely ripping, and we're going to get a quick phone call with head judge Richie Porter. Good morning, Rich.
Morning, boys.
So would you mind explaining what just happened there with the jet ski assist?
Yeah, well, the swell's building, and, you know, surfing's about surfing and not paddling. We like some paddle races, but a 400-metre paddle race isn't what we're here for. The lineup can get affected, so we're not going to give them ski assist all the way back out to the lineup, but down past tubes, we're going to give them a tow back up to sort of where the keyhole that you come in is, and that just alleviates maybe a minute, 2 minutes of paddling, and then they can paddle from there.
Thank you for that, Rich. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of amazing waves ridden today. Already a great opening exchange. How was that setting the scale in that first set with De Souza and Joan Duru?
Yeah, they're both good-sized waves. You know, they've had some moments on both of those waves, and then they also had some downtime. So we haven't gone too high yet because of those little mistakes. Well, not really mistakes, but just they got caught behind here and there, you know. A bit hung up on a couple of turns. Adriano started off slow on his wave. So we've still got a big space to move up to 10. Both waves in, you know, both of Jones in the 7 range and Adriano just under 7. And we've got a good scale set now, and we can move on from there because we're going to see some crackers.
Thank you very much, Richie Porta, for your time. Enjoy the day. Richie Porta, head judge, watching the international panel on a brand new day with bigger sets coming through. 6.83 start for De Souza, and now Duru 7.67 on his opener, on his wave under priority, just a bit better at 7.83.
That's the kind of start you want. You know, you want to come out the blocks firing, especially against someone like Adriano De Souza, who now needs an 8.67, and with conditions today, you'd have to say that is very easily attainable for someone like De Souza. Plenty of time remaining though, 20 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock. Beautiful scene here this morning. About as good as it gets, really, Joe.
It's unbelievable. The whole lineup is mesmerized by every set that comes through. All the people on the beach are high-fiving each other. We knew it was going to be a quick start this morning. But most of the top 34 got a good warm-up in the dark. Saw Mick get a gem of a ride. Joel Parkinson was running back from, it seemed like the point he took his so far this morning, as we check out all the different spots that you want to check off if you come down here to Jeffreys Bay. Boneyards, that's been Pot's sacred grounds the last few years. You can kick off your little JBay run up there if you'd like. The keyhole there is marked. That's where everybody for their heats is paddling out through. You walk through the keyhole, try to keep your feet intact, and then get absolutely barreled through supers. They call that car park section. There used to be a big car park there. You can check the surf. And a lot of big stories would go down there over the years. Impossibles, that's where it really starts to run. We've got a lot of sand in there now. And Potts, you're calling some beautiful tube rides throughout this week.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. But, you know, yesterday the guys were surfing pretty much from the car park section down past the gully. Today they're up near the keyhole where they're taking off because of the conditions, because those lines are coming from deeper and ending up down almost to the point. Between the gully and the point, there's a place called Tubes. There's a lot of sand through there, and that's where we're going to see some incredible tube rides. So it is a long wave. It's very demanding physically, and not a bad idea there to get the jet ski assist on the way, well, half the way back out, and save these guys a little bit of time.
It's already good for Joan Duru just to have 2 solid ones with the time on the clock. So great time management. Duru still wants to hear it one more time that he's out in front over Adriano de Souza. Duru, one of the rookies on tour representing France, a guy that's been fighting on the qualifying series for a long time. Duru came so close to qualifying back in 2010. It was actually a tie-break decision on the QS with Blake Thornton. They had to go to your 6th result, an extra result to factor in, and Duru lost the spot by 1 place. Think about how long it's been since 2010. He never gave up his dream, and looks like he's better for it. He's more mature, more experienced, and already throwing down some key heats this year.
Yeah, I like it. You know, there's no age barrier these days. I mean, Kelly's proven that. So, you know, if you're fit and healthy and you've got the right mindset, and by the way, you're coming in as a strong man, not a little kid that can get pushed around. So these rookies in this day and age are big, strong kids that will really take it to you. So I like what I'm seeing from Joan Duru. Started off a bit slow this year, but then found his feet in Fiji. We just saw what this kid's really capable of doing.
Love seeing that backhand just flowing down the line. He's got a point of difference where he absolutely hammers it vertically. He showcases a lot of power and drive, and it never looks like he's off pace on this wave. Some surfers have that instant connection with Jeffreys Bay. Duru fits that mold.
He definitely does, and does his opponent as well, Adriano de Souza. So this is going to, I mean, this heat is nowhere near over, that's for sure. 8.67 required by the former world champion. 17 minutes remaining, so a little bit of a break in the action. The ocean just taking a little bit of a breath, but I can guarantee you within the next 5 minutes or so, we're going to see some bombs walk around the corner.
Duru now paddles past Adriano de Souza without priority. De Souza now looking for an 8.67 to take the lead off Duru. Adriano coming up with a big win this year in Rio de Janeiro. That move to Saquarema proved a solid one for the veteran. Finished that final over Ace Buchan. That's his 7th career win. Now tied with Medina in all-time wins. One more win than Jordy Smith. John has 5 CT wins to his name, and also a 2015 world champ. It's kind of nice to see De Souza back on the podium, kind of after that lap after a world title year in 2016, where he still kept himself in pace in that top 10 picture. But you could tell he needed to find that win again, the passion to really fire up to go for a 2nd world title.
You know what, it's okay that he took a little bit of a breather. You know, you've got to sit back and enjoy it. I mean, you know, you work your butt off, and you know, a lot of sacrifice, and then the next year you come back as a defending world champion. There's a lot of media attention, there's a lot of responsibilities, you know, so a little bit more difficult. You know, it's that headspace that you just sort of have to get comfortable with, and he's done that very well.
Priority still with De Souza. 15:50 to go. Duru takes a look and holds back.
Oh my.
Decision making on waves is really critical, because they'll take you a long way down the line. De Souza going for it. Nice clean wrapping turn. Beautiful pace and tempo. Little layback hack under the lip. Extends the bottom turn and fills in the gaps well as this wave starts to stand up. Beautiful drive. Right under the lip. Now it's starting to open up. He packs it. Plenty of room, and he sneaks out quickly. De Souza making that decision pot to get the completion there.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a 50-50 whether he's going to make that next section. I think he should have gone for it, you know, because sometimes that's why it's called impossibles. When you're driving through that section, it looks like you're not going to make it, but sometimes you do. So, hence the name impossibles. And you know, that section is, especially with all that sand, it's makeable in, you know, today. That's for sure. But let's have a look at De Souza. Nice opening turn. Beautiful snap in the pocket. So just setting things up, trying to find his groove in the wave. And now this double up section, these waves are going to start doubling up, and this is where you've got to start getting the giddy up. Speed check there, and you can see him sizing up the barrel, waiting for it. Now he moves forward on his board and drives through that section again. There was another section. I'll tell you what, he could have come out of that maybe. So De Souza on his way in. He's going to do the runaround, Joe.
That's right. Adriano, 2 waves trying to fight back against Joran Duru. How's he looking from your angle, Strider?
It looked like it was a nice end section there, and he did drop his board just there, so he's doing a board change. He's actually looking for a new board, so Caddy would be running down the beach at this point with a new surfboard for that young man right there running up the beach. It's a long way. It's not a short walk, and just timing that inside keyhole to actually get back to the inside quick enough to, you know, you got to turn right in this tiny little channel, which he did really well. Ended up on the beach now running, his caddy running alongside of him, and there it looks like he's going to go ahead and do a board change up to the top of the point, but pretty impressive. A lot of fitness happening right here, and getting back out there. I don't know if something happened to his board, so we'll have to take a look on the beach at what happened to the surfboard that he threw down, but he's got a good little jog up to the top of the point, let me tell you. Beautiful lines coming in out the back. It is absolutely gorgeous out here this morning, boys.
We're right there with you, Strider. So this is a big moment for De Souza and the caddy. Caddy's got to be in good shape as well to pace themselves all the way to the keyhole. He's got the backup board ready to go, and he's going to try to get out there, hopefully in between sets, to already be in a position to answer back. Look, 13 on the clock. De Souza should have another opportunity here, Ponce.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything wrong with his board, Joe. I think he's opted for a little bit longer board. He's got a pintail right there under his arm, so I think he just wants a bit more drive out of it. You know, this wave through that inside section, you really got to have a bit more rail in the water. You know, that wave starts cranking up down the line, speed. You want to be able to hook into the turn. No hesitation whatsoever, and I think the board under his arm looks a little bit longer. It's going to give him a bit more rail in the water. It's going to give him a bit more of that positivity that he's looking for.
So what a sprint from an athlete. Wanting to get that little subtle difference, trying to stay on his feet. This is the challenging part. Good news for De Souza. We've had our eyes on the lineup. He hasn't missed anything yet. So timing it well. Duru's had the whole lineup at Jeffreys Bay to himself and the lead. And De Souza already working hard to get back into position. So a little longer board, drawing that line out beautifully. Round pin, that's a popular option in JBay this size.
Very much so. I think most of the guys yesterday and today will be riding more of a pintail design. The squash tail obviously gives you a little bit more high performance. Pintail, a little bit more rail in the water, so it gives you that drive, allows you to hold your turns for a bit longer. Obviously what these guys are looking for, Joe.
Duru asking for a situation update with a time call and probably just wondering how come there's no sets coming through. Well, I've got the lineup to myself. Sometimes the wave does that. Sometimes surfers have a rhythm with the sets. De Souza timed that well. Look, he's already out the back. Duru, obviously with priority, still has the lead. The last wave for De Souza, 5.33, so he's still chasing at 8.67.
That only took him a couple of minutes, Joe. I mean, he came in on the 13-minute mark. It's now 11, so he did that turnaround very well. Good pit stop.
That's right. A lot of experience from the 2015 world champ trying to fight back against the rookie named Joran Duru. Still 11 minutes on the clock in the first heat of the morning. We'll be back at Jeffreys Bay after this. Welcome back to beautiful Jeffreys Bay here in South Africa. This is the Corona Open JBay. Joan Duru, rookie on tour with a 15.5 combined total as he's battling with the world champion Adriano de Souza, 12.16 total. Got the first wave, a 6.83 still his high mark as he's chasing down the rookie from France to try to get a spot into round 4. We've seen de Souza's rhythm here at Jeffreys Bay over the years. He's always so solid. If he would get knocked out in this round, it'd be his worst finish since 2009. But there's still time on the clock. He is a world champ, and he's already figured out what he wants to do to answer back. Duru decides to use priority on this wave. Nice lofty float and almost goes down. He'll recover with a backside hack in the pocket. Clean top turn. He's just using all of his speed to power it in the zone, and he's down. So de Souza's going to try to capitalize. Late hit, de Souza has to eject on his comeback wave. So after the big runaround, board change, de Souza falls, and it would seem like that's usually when Adriano takes over. Joan using his priority, de Souza on the next wave, but both surfers are going to have throwaway scores there.
Yeah, 2 throwaways. No harm, no foul, though. Looks like de Souza's going to get back out and get priority. He's still got plenty of time to go. He's looking for an 8.67. Now, in a normal beach break situation, you'd say, well, that's a pretty tricky score to get, but out here at Jeffreys Bay here this morning, that's a drop in the park, really. It's a walk in the park. That's 8.67. He just needs to find the right wave. Obviously, plenty of sets coming through, so he's just got to be patient. Do you think that run around maybe tied him just a little bit? Those legs maybe a little wobbly. Let's have a look at Joan Duru's wave first. Up and over the top, and almost lost it right there. Maintained again, so this wave not really cooperating at the beginning part. And Duru realizing he needs to crank it up, and unfortunately makes a mistake. So looking to improve on a 7.67. De Souza, beautiful opening maneuver. Geez, that board looks good under his feet. That big drawn out bottom turn. And then let's see what happened here. Double pump off the bottom. And just over rotated, kind of too much weight on the front foot and goes down. But I like what I'm seeing with that board, Joe. He can hold those turns a little longer. You can see him leaning too far down the face of the wave. And a very uncharacteristic mistake right there from Adriano de Souza. He is just so solid on his feet, doesn't make too many errors.
So it's 6:15 to go. Sean Thompson now up in his pole position at the top. What's your take on that surprising fall from de Souza, Sean?
Yeah, you guys nailed it. Surprising fall was really it described exactly what he did there. I don't think Adriano's fallen for about 4 months. You know, he's, like you say, he's incredibly solid on his feet. And when he drove into that third turn, I just thought it was going to be a cracker of a maneuver. But Potts, you really, on that slow-mo, you're really able to see that he did over-rotate. He really put too much pressure on that inside rail. Was a very, very critical maneuver. I think on that bottom turn, as he was driving up to the lip, he became a little bit indecisive. He didn't know exactly how hard he should hit it. So very, very complicated when you get in that situation at JBay halfway through the maneuver and you're trying to second-guess yourself. Normally, he's just absolutely committed to everything he does, and I think halfway through that turn, a little bit of the commitment was lost. That was also evidenced, Potts, you described when he pulled into that barrel where he should have actually gone for it again. You know, Richie Porter told us, judges not looking for safe surfing, and he definitely went safe. He could have gone up into that second barrel section, and he rather decided, listen, I'm going to get a conservative score rather than get the big score, and I think that was the moment that the heat was won and lost in retrospect.
Thank you, Sean. Sean talking about the 5.33 from de Souza where he was going in for the board change, Potts.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, just, I don't know, the board looks good under his feet, but maybe looking for more rail in the water. And we can see here drawing off the bottom, and he pulls in, driving through the section and deciding to sneak out. That second section right there, I mean, he's good enough to make that for sure. He turned that into a 5.33. It could have been a lot more, but it's easy sitting here in the booth talking about it. It's a different story when you're in the moment.
Especially when you're in the mindset of already, I'm making a board change after this wave. It could have been kind of pulling him that direction. Let's get out, do another lap, reset in this heat. Unfortunately for De Souza, he's starting to run out of time. We saw both surfers go down on that last exchange. Throwaway scores for both. Second scoring ride for De Souza, and that last wave where he straightened towards the beach was a 5.33, leaving him still chasing an 8.67. Equal third on the Jeep leaderboard right now is De Souza, with a few ties there. Jordy, Owen right in that conversation. So this is a key heat for him in the world title race. But now we'll have a chance to catch up with our commissioner, Kieran Perros, with Rosie Hodge.
Well, Kieran, another incredible morning here in South Africa. Looking at the line stacks to the horizon, what do you think we're going to get done?
God, what a beautiful day. Absolutely firing JBay. We're going to do round 3 and 4 today. We're sticking with 35-minute heats, really long paddles today. Actually, we're just starting to trial, using the skis right at that end section, picking them up when they're going to get washed way down past that impossible zone and taking them just a little bit of the way to help with the paddle. It's, over 5 minutes when they're all the way down there. So we'll be monitoring and seeing how that goes. But otherwise, an amazing day, and we're looking forward to some great surfing.
And we're also greedy. I mean, today we're going to have a big day of action, but what's it looking like on the Surfline forecast further out in the week?
Yeah, sure. I mean, and that's why we've got this luxury. We've got an incredible forecast, so we've got the luxury to have a little bit longer heats. Make sure that there's enough opportunity in those matchups today, which are fantastic. We're going to have tomorrow sort of a dipping swell through the day. Still going to be holding really great surf in the morning. Another swell builds pretty quickly into the day on Thursday that looks bigger than today. So we're just going to have to see what happens, but we'll be finishing on within the next 48 hours after today.
Swell on tap and another beautiful day here. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Rosie. What a beautiful call from KP. You could tell the excitement in his voice when he knows he's got a lot in the forecast to choose from. KP's favorite thing is seeing the world's best get beautiful rides. Kieran Perot, former full-time competitor, former pipe master, always doing the best things for the world's best. As we check out what's on the line on the Jeep leaderboard, Matt Wilkinson still on top of the world, surviving in the heat against Wildcard Mikey February. John Florence number 2 now, but the tie for third, De Souza, Jordy Smith, and Owen Wright. As we take a look here, Adriano looking for an 8.67. Huge, searing, top turn wrap. Another big carve in the pocket. He's got the lip to work with now, and plenty of speed flowing through that snap. Big top turn again for the former world champ on his answer. Rooftop carve, and now he's going to just continue to drive down the line, packs that inside racetrack barrel, looking for the exit. De Souza ends up getting tackled right down there by the bricks. Duro decides to kick out on the next effort, already into the final minute, so we're thinking maybe that was De Souza's last chance to turn it, Potts. Yeah, definitely his last opportunity, and he would have known that in the back of his mind, paddling into that wave. He was saying to himself, okay, this is it. I've got to let it all hang out. There's no holding back, just let loose. And he started to. Just the wave didn't quite cooperate. Normally when you get these beautiful lines at Jeffreys Bay, it sort of stays the same size all the way down the line. That one kind of tapered off a bit. Didn't really offer him that big wide open tube ride through the impossible section. I'm not seeing an 8.67 on that occasion. De Souza, one of the favorites to go all the way in this contest. Now all eyes are on the last score to come through to see if it's close to the 8.67. You knew he started off throwing everything he had at that opening maneuver. As the judges take another look. Wow, that board looks amazing. And a good choice. Maybe should have paddled out on that thing, from the get-go. But it's easy said than done. Let's have a look at this next couple of turns from De Souza. It's that beautiful bottom turn, straight up through the lip. Watch this turn here from De Souza. Holds the rail and drives off the top. That beautiful maneuver from Adriano De Souza. And again, so he's on his way to a good score. A little bit off balance pulling into that section right there, and then just ran away from him. It sort of pinched at the end. There was no exit. And unfortunately for De Souza, he's going to fall short. De Souza put everything he had into that last effort. Every turn was solid, but a 7.57 when he needed something in the 8-point range. Joran Duro gets his first win off De Souza in his career, and we'll be moving on to round 4. Yeah, great stuff there from Joan Duro. I mean, that's not an easy heat. You come up against a world champion. You come up against someone who's destined to win this thing again. I mean, the way this kid surfs, and Joan Duro takes him down with some great surfing.
his 2 opening waves were the scores, and that's all she wrote.
A huge start for Duru, getting the second wave of the set on the opener, then backed it up with a higher 7 on his way back out under priority of Adriano. The rookie moves on as round 3 continues. Coming up next, former world champ Gabriel Medina takes on Bede Durbridge here at Jeffreys Bay. Welcome back to Jeffreys Bay. Beautiful conditions continue for the 2017 Corona Open JBay. Round 3, heat number 2 features a former world champ, Gabriel Medina, taking on an Aussie veteran, Bede Durbridge, former runner-up in the world. He's won CT events, but big thing that we've been really loving this year is the beautiful comeback to surfing at a very high level. Bede made some heats at the last event, and he's finding some momentum. Sits now 18th on the Jeep leaderboard, as we're all hoping that he returns to the top 10. What a comeback it's been, Potts. And there's something that you noticed when you saw him on his first few waves, that his carves had a little something different to it. He had to learn how to surf with basically his new hip, and it's looking really sharp.
Yeah, the bionic man. Yeah, just amazing. I mean, it's, you know, you look at the recovery that Owen's made, the recovery that Bede's made, and you know, you've just got to go back to any one of these top guys that have had these potential career-ending injuries. Mick Fanning coming to mind. I mean, you know, tore the hamstring off his bone, came back and won 3 world titles. So, you know, it gives you time to sit back and sort of have a look at it, reassess things, and really decide what you want in life. And Bede wants this, and you can tell.
Bede Durbridge, now 34 years of age, and he came a long way on the CT. Always had that kind of reputation as being an underdog, but then he sort of had to wipe that away because he had repeat finishes in the top 10 and winning CT events.
Oh my.
Potts can't sit still.
Look at this coming around the corner. Are you kidding me?
The Indian Ocean is livening up this morning. Medina set to have the pole position, but which one do you pick, Potts?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I mean, which one do you want to go? And they'll be thinking that too. Bede's going to try and force the issue with Medina on wave number 1, which Medina's going to take. You got to.
Gabriel Medina holding that deeper position. Will start off with his first wave. Clean hook right off the lip. Nice setup work. This wave's starting to fill out a little bit. He'll just keep fading back into the source. Just trying to fade that downtime well. Now vertically off the lip. Starting to racetrack. Big rooftop float. He's going to come out of that with some speed. harder jam down the line and plenty of room. Beautiful vertical. Running down into a solid section to pull in. It's a messy one, though. Medina's down. Now we'll catch up to Durbich. Lay back under the lip. Well overhead through this section towards Impossibles, and he's looking to pull in. Flies out without a problem. Now sets that rail for a bit of a down carb to wipe off some speed.
That's one of the biggest sets we've seen this entire event, Joe. The one behind it as well. That was a 4 or 5 wave set. And as you said, the ocean has come alive.
The sound is beautiful. It even smells good, Potts. When you see that set coming through. Oh, something about Jeffreys Bay that's different from anywhere else in the world. Bede and Gabriel Medina just enjoying this moment, seeing the size increase in their heat. Medina, one that loves to start things off to try to control it. Sean Thompson's kind of been talking about that a lot. Getting the first wave, how often does it turn into a win? I love that topic, especially at JBay, since it's just a beautiful right point break. There's so many surfers that make it very important in their game plan. Medina, one of those guys, and we'll see how this one plays out.
Yeah, well, De Souza in that last heat, I mean, he started off with the first wave of the heat, but ended up losing. So I think Jeffreys Bay has the last say. It depends on which wave you catch. I think any one of these guys has the ability to win. Let's have a look. As you can see, Medina milking it all the way through, waiting for this wave to stand up through the inside, and you can just see the stacks to the horizon behind him. And you'll see Bede come into the picture here very shortly. Medina up and over the top of that one. Bede's wave a little bit bigger. Medina maybe a little bit more energetic, but in saying that, pulls into the barrel and doesn't come out. So right behind him, Bede on a bit more open face. Look at this wave, probably almost double in size compared to Gabriel Medina's wave. That beautiful high line that we love here at Jeffreys Bay. Now he just winds back, waiting for this wave to stand up, trying to contain himself, trying to maintain, try not to get too excited, try not to get ahead of yourself. Those are all the things that you're trying to say to yourself. Calm down, relax, take a breath, breathe. It is a long wave as Bede comes off the bottom and pulls in behind the section. So I'm not seeing either of these scores go too high. A couple little mistakes there from both guys. Very difficult waves to ride, those ones, but look at the size of it. And that turn right there from Bede, probably the pick of the bunch on his wave. And it sets him up nicely for this little tube ride here. A little in and out. And draws off the bottom again. So beautiful scenes here this morning. And as I said, both guys really not connecting 100%. Just trying to get those nerves at bay, keep those nerves at bay. I mean, this is exciting stuff. These guys will both be absolutely on the edge of their seats before their heat. And as I said before, I'm not seeing either of those waves go too high, Joe.
Well, we got a great vision of the takeoff. Strider, where did these guys end up after that exchange?
Well, we're all the way down on the inside, really past, you know, that inside impossible section. So they're really just getting into tubes and really finding these waves. They're just flying down the line. They're moving so fast. They're like freight trains coming down the point, and they get to ride these waves with so much speed that I think just doing a bottom turn, they're covering 50 yards. So you can imagine how much time they're spending just on the rail out there. It's so beautiful to watch. Bede's wave, you could see it towering over the back of Gabriel's as Gabriel was riding the wave, and then you could see Bede out the back just doing these big hacks. It is just one of those great moments in surfing where you can see two of the best guys in the world having the time of their life, and they're in a heat together battling it out. It's so tough probably just to pick the right wave with the right pace, figure out which one to be on, which one not to be on. But there's not really a bad wave out there right now. Honestly, every wave just looks absolutely like a machine.
Strider, we're seeing numbers from that first exchange. Bede 5.0, Medina 5.4. Remember the last heat as well, 6s and 7s. We're talking about maybe the best day wave-wise, getting higher, but is it harder sometimes to maybe get scores in the X1 range?
Well, here's the challenge, okay? We all know that JBay is one of the best waves in the world. The challenge is to ride this wave the best that you could possibly ride it and actually get up into the lip. We're gonna watch these guys riding out here right now, trying to find that open face again and really get into the place to where you're gonna be in the lip. So Bede right here, he's going to turn back into it, waiting for that power pocket. Looks like he's going to try and set up this inside bowl, but it's so hard to time it perfectly, to come around, to actually be in that lip. He is just going to drive through this inside and kick out. So as you saw these waves, you go as fast as you could possibly go. You could, you know, it's one of the easiest waves to ride down the line and go straight, but actually to go into the lip, to get radical, to do technical surfing, to lay it on the rail, redirect, and especially at a size when you're going this fast, that's the hard part. And that's what these guys need to do to get up into the excellent range.
Good man, Strider, enjoying your morning as the world's best compete in well overhead conditions here at Jeffreys Bay. Medina 5.4 to beat Durbridge 5.0. Mick Fanning's always humble in his approach, but he jokes about his first wave out here ever. He said he didn't do a turn. He just was going 150 miles an hour and kicked out, but it felt amazing. Going that fast on a wave at Jeffreys Bay is something that everyone has to feel. But like now we're into performance. You're going for a score, and we'll see Bede and Medina pick up their numbers on the next exchange.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You kind of get, you got to be mindful of it too, though, because it's so easy to get mesmerized by this wave. You know, you're on it, you're flying down the line, and you're looking at it just going, oh my gosh, what's going on? You know, this, it looks like it's going to close out, but it doesn't. So you just keep driving and driving, and your board is literally humming. You know, you can feel those fins vibrating underneath you. And then you go, oh my gosh, I've got to do a turn. So a lot of the time you're wiping off speed to really hook into them. So it's all about finding those right ones with the right pace that allow you to just come off the bottom and do those big hooks.
It's been a conversation on how to do well at Jeffreys Bay since the Beach Hotel Classic back in 1981, which is won by Sean Thompson in a field over 27. It was 5-foot flawless super tubes. Sean remembers that day like it was yesterday. Sean, how do you pick the best wave when it's pumping like this?
Well, what's interesting on a day like today, we've got sort of a highish tide at the moment. We've got an incoming, it's kind of a newish swell. The bigger waves aren't always the best ones. The bigger waves often offer kind of a bit of a mushy wall. You really want a wave that bends into the bay as opposed to a wave that's bending out of the bay. A lot of the bigger waves sort of seem to bend out into deeper water. So the guys really need that tight, taut wall. They need a wall that bends in on the reef, and it gives them the opportunity to do the big carve and then that searing off the top, and then get that double up tube section as it comes through onto the Impossible's car park section. So it's strange that the bigger waves are not often the best ones. So selectivity is super important out there.
So with experience, Sean, we'll see how this one plays out. Bede's been here a long time, and we see an opportunity now for Medina way out the back. Setting up his first move, it's a vertical to a tough section, comes out with control. Another hammer right on the money. Good tempo and pace from Medina. Keeps that turn down the line. Solid carving work for Medina. Just a little down carve to set up this wall. Now it's starting to run and stand up. Big wind up, hammers it right in the pocket before the big closeout behind him.
Joe, it really looked to me like Medina was struggling to set the rail on that wave. Only when that wave just started standing up vertical through that inside is when he actually felt comfortable enough to really hook into it. Those first couple of turns were a little bit sketchy. Maybe that's why De Souza came in and changed his board. He's probably riding his normal board out there and then decided, you know what, I need to step up. I need something with a little bit more rail in the water, something I can really be confident with my turns on. Let's have a look at Medina. You can see him crouching low, connects nicely. Watch this next bottom turn here. You can see just almost nursing that board around the corner. Again, nice turn there from Medina. A little bit off balance again. Another turn, almost lost it again there. So it's almost like that board not really engaging with the face of the wave. Now as it's come through the inside, you can see now he starts to feel a little bit more comfortable. Now he starts to be able to unload a little bit better. Right here, that's the best turn of the wave right there, and then it runs away. So I think it's going to be a sign of things to come for guys coming up in the next couple of heats, is that they're going to be riding bigger boards. They're going to need a little bit more rail in the water, maybe some quad fins, who knows. But You can see Medina not really being able to jam it. You see right there, kind of almost nursing that turn, just making sure that he connects with the wave nicely. And then once he gets through to the inside, that's when he starts to feel comfortable. That's when he starts able to get that board to fit in the transition of the wave. But look at this, just big, long walls here at Jeffreys Bay. This is what we come here for, Joe. This is classic stuff. A little bit of a different face compared to yesterday, maybe not as clean and perfect, but still, we are going to see some magic moments, that's for sure.
Already starting off in such a beautiful way, seeing these guys going blow for blow. We lost De Souza from the draw in the last heat by a rookie named H1-3. And now Medina, the headliner, being a former world champ, being a top-seeded surfer, just a spot out of the top 10 picture coming into this contest. Last score for Medina, an 8.0. So finishing on his feet and definitely making up for that wave with a big finishing move. He waited a long time for it to open up, and he didn't hold back.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that either, by the way. It's not a bad idea to take your time with the wave. You know, it's such a long wave. It gives you so much opportunity to score. That at the beginning of the wave, you kind of set yourself up. You get your feet in the right place, build your confidence. And you can see as he made his way down the line, he started getting, you know, cranking up a little bit more, starting to get a bit more radical, putting a bit more positivity into his surfing. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that here at Jeffreys Bay.
What a feeling at JBay when you take off. You go, okay, I have all the speed I want. Now what do I do with it? And you can see Medina's tempo, just trying to fit in maneuvers, to keep that line going from top to bottom. And now has a bit more of a lead over Beat Durbridge. Beat needs an 8.4. Durbridge a lot more time on tour than Medina, but once Gabriel qualified, they've had 6 previous matchups. Medina undefeated over Beat Durbridge in his career.
Yeah, it's an amazing stat, isn't it? Especially with someone with Bede's stature, someone with Bede's talent. Just shows you how crazy Medina really is. And you'd look through the top 32, and he's probably got a great record against most of the guys as well.
Came out winning at just 17 on that midseason rotation. Ever since then, we've been waiting for how many titles Medina will produce in his career. So far with one back in 2014. Now let's hear from rookie H1-3 with Rosie Hodge.
Well, Jean, what a beautiful way to start the day. Exciting heat against Adriano De Souza. Talk to me about those last moments, waiting for that score to drop in of Adriano's.
Yeah, it was hard because it was kind of slow at the end, and we both fall on a wave, and then he got a wave at the end, was looking kind of small, but I think he got barrel and stuff, so was pretty nervous. I lost against him like this, like 5 years ago on the QS at the end, the last minute, so I will not again.
Well, let's just think about that. I mean, you're thinking back to 5 years ago where you met up with him, so you're really carrying that with you. Do you learn from those experiences?
Well, I did the same mistake, so not really, but hopefully I got lucky this time.
And the space is so raw. I mean, we had the sun rising, and obviously the water's a little bit chilly. You told me you're not that cold, but the sunshine in your eyes while you're riding waves?
Was okay this morning, was kind of okay, and was not too cold. Yesterday was really freezing, and today was good. The waves are pumping, so it's going to be a crazy day.
See you in round 4. Well done.
Thank you, Rosie. Great to hear from the rookie H1-3 representing France on tour. He's been a big name on the QS for a long time. We knew he was going to do damage at this venue since he finaled that heat he referenced with De Souza back in 2012. But he also eliminated Taylor Knox as a wild card in 2010. And we all know how amazing Taylor was in his career at JBay. One of the best ever. He finaled against Kelly. He was always in the running. So that was a huge statement when the kid from France showed up as a wild card and got through that matchup.
Yeah, no surprise really, Joe. I spent a lot of time in France and watched H1-3 grow up. He's a danger man, you know, growing up surfing the beach breaks of Hossegor. It's powerful there, you know, so he's used to the power. He's used to the big moments, you know, hanging out with all the boys there. And there goes Beard getting up on the jet ski.
So when you get away really far down the point, you get the jet ski assist just to a little bit further, closer to that impossible section. You don't get the lap all the way up. They want to make sure that there's no jet ski wake in the wave. Want to keep this place nice, natural amphitheater. 15 minutes on the clock. Beat Durbridge is an 8.4. How's the fatigue factor playing in this matchup, Strider?
Well, he just really looked tired, like pulling himself, barely getting back up on the ski. So obviously when these guys catch the waves, they ride through this inside section, they're getting barreled, they're hitting the lip, they're exuding a lot of energy right at the end of the wave to really stomp their authority on it and try to get that score. Well, in the end of it, you're going to have to go through a couple because the jet skis can't get right in on the reef to pick them up. So they have to duck dive, get pounded a little bit even more, and then finally get back out to where the jet ski is. Pulling himself up right there, you could see he was exhausted. I mean, really tired. And so, you know, he's paddling a little slower than normal. After a really long wave like that, you're going to be in the lip, you know, 7, 8 times, turning off the bottom. You're talking 16, 17 power carve turns off the bottom, off the top combos, then a barrel ride, and then trying to deal with the inside section tube. So out the back, we'll see what Gabby does on the backhand. But look at these walls, boys. It is firing.
Absolutely. Big hack there for Medina. Slowing down to pull in, and that's going to be a messy section. So Medina loses the handle on that decision to pull in, still with the lead. Lasse Durbridge, his best, a 6.67. You can see the positioning. Bede still working hard to get back out to the top. So that just shows you how long this point break is, how much physical fitness you have to have. And even on the warm-up date spots, there's a lot of guys out. So when you get back out in a position, it's not your turn yet. So these guys are putting a lot on the line today.
Yeah, that back leg starts burning. Joe, I've had a session out here where I caught 3 waves and I was done. So it is a wave that is very demanding. And then when you're in a heat as well, you know, every turn you're putting so much more effort into it. So it's not like a free surf. Free surf, you're kind of relaxed, you're having fun. In a heat situation, every muscle is taut. You know, you're, as I said, putting 110% into every single maneuver. So by the time you kick out, there is nothing left in the tank, and that's that whole recovery thing, paddling back out is very, very important. Bede Durbridge, beautiful wave here. This is a good comeback wave for him. It's going to get him right back in the mix. Trademark stuff so far from Bede, no mistakes yet. Now he pulls in a nice little cover up and disappears around the corner. So a long wave, demanding wave, a lot of turns, a lot of maneuvers. And then as Strider said, you've got to take a couple on the head to get back out into the lineup. So yeah, you've got to recover on the way back out, and you can see Bede still paddling, and that is with the jet ski assist.
Still just getting out in front. Medina fell in the barrel, and so he's trying to control priority for the next exchange with 12:30 to go. Medina still out front. He's made the quarters every time he showed up at Jeffreys Bay. Let's see if he can go further this season, as we're back for more action after this. Welcome back to the Corona Open JBay, and we don't want you ever to miss a wave on the championship tour. You can message WSL on Facebook for It's On alerts, or Sign up at worldsurfleague.com, or it's on email alerts. It'll email you. You know right when it starts, and you'll never miss a wave from your favorites on tour. You can also download the app, and you can pick your favorite athletes, and you'll always be aware of when they're going for big world title moments. It's halfway point of the year. This is a big part of the world title race, and Potts, I always like to go further where every heat is such a big part of the title race. Sometimes the athletes want to keep their head strong, so they don't want to think about it yet. But you look back at the season finale and you go back to all those little moments, every little stage, every hiccup or even glorified moment that really ends up in a world title race. Medina knows that all too well, becoming the first Brazilian world champ 2014 and creating history. It's a moment that Medina and all of us surf fans will never forget.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the year, you go back and you think, that one heat I had, that one heat at JBay or the one heat at Tahiti, that was the difference in winning a world title. So it is that crazy, that much more difficult in this day and age to win a world title. We've had different winners in every single event so far this year. And it's going to be a great race to the world title, that's for sure.
First thing I thought of just with last season, the quarterfinal with Jordy and John. John ended up turning that into 8,000 points for a runner-up. Jordy left with 5,200 with that result at quarterfinal. And that was 1 and 2 in the world at the end of the season. Yep. That heat was decided by .2 in really tough conditions.
It was hard to watch, wasn't it? But that's the nature of the beast, and you know, it's the same for everyone. So you got to get out there and focus on it and do what you got to do. So, and that's why we have events in all these different locations, Joe. I mean, it tests their skills. You know, your air game, your tube riding, your strength. Here, your physical fitness comes into play as well. You know, tomorrow could be a long day for these guys. You never know. I mean, multiple surfs in conditions like this will really drag you down. It'll deplete your energy levels. So you've got to really tick every single box if you want to be a world champion.
You sure do. Medina was unstoppable at the start of the season when he won a world title, won Snapper Rock. Since then, he hasn't had the most brilliant start of the year, but he has made amazing comebacks. The year following his world title, he started switching on right here at Jeffreys Bay. He's always made the quarterfinals of this venue. For a goofy foot, that's incredibly consistent. Coming into this event just outside the top 10 as we have a Brazilian and an Australian in this heat. There's been an Australian shift. The last couple of years had a ton of Brazilians in the top 10. This time it's the Australians filling that role. De Souza, the one representative in the top 10, just got knocked out in the last matchup.
Yeah, we lost Chloe and Seabass yesterday as well. So 3 out of the top 10 are gone by round 3. That's how crazy this year has been. And Joe, I will not be surprised if we lose a few more by the end of the day.
Interesting round with perfect waves. B. Durbridge with his skill sets, with open face carves and overall performance. And just the experience he's had down here at JBay. You knew he was always going to be a threat to push Medina to maybe get his first win off him in his career. Beat up to 18th in the world on his comeback road to the tour. A guy that was formerly in the top 5, even runner-up in the world at some stage. He's made so many key finals over the years. And right before his injury, it felt like this serious comeback where he said he struggled when his family started growing and where his mind and his heart is in 2 places. He worked that out. He actually was able to sit in the final that season leading up to the injury with Medina in France. So Bede was heading all that right direction. Beautiful part, his head's always strong. Understands the game better than anyone, and so we're still expecting bigger results for Bede later down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a tenacious competitor, Joe. I mean, if you go and ask some of the top guys in the world who's one of the hardest guys to compete against, Bede's name will come up more times than not. You know, he's one of those guys that makes you earn your wins. He doesn't make too many mistakes. You know, he's got an amazing game, and you know, to come back from what he's gone through just makes him stronger.
And it was really interesting when we got the news that John had hired Bede through that first stage of his injury to come through him as a coach to kick off his world title campaign. They had to go separate ways because Bede's comeback came quick and he returned to Pipeline. As we check out the heat recap for round 3, heat number 2. Gabriel Medina got the first wave of the matchup, turned it into a 5.4. Then got a bigger wave for an 8.0.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what Medina does. I mean, he's a competitive beast, that is for sure. As Sean Thompson would put it, he's a predator. He goes out there and he manufactures scores. He makes it happen for himself. If he doesn't have the rhythm and the groove, he'll find it. He'll make it happen for him, and that's why he's got a world title under his belt. And out here at Jeffreys Bay, 3 quarterfinals in a row for him, so he's going to want to go better this year. He's looking strong. He hasn't won an event so far this year, and he's going to be definitely looking to win JBay.
And look at this one, a solid one here. An 8-point ride due to a solid finishing move on the inside corner. Set his lines well, just kept at the pace of the wave until it opened up, and then he absolutely hammered it.
Yeah, you know, speed management, a key factor that Richie Porter's been talking about. And right there, the best turn of the wave. So just, you know, take your time with this wave. It's it gives you a lot of time to react, a lot of opportunity to score. Start off nice and slow and build your momentum through the inside. That's what these guys are going to be looking to do. Bede Durbridge started off with a 5.0. He backed it up with a 6.67. 4.5 to go, so finds himself in a better situation than before, Joe, looking for a 6.74. So this heat is wide open with sets marching around the corner here at Jeffreys Bay. We're going to see more opportunities for both of these guys. And as Bede finishes off, you heard Strider talk about the fatigue maybe that is coming into play. These guys are going to have to pick themselves up. They may have to surf again today.
4 minutes on the clock. Priority is with Gabriel Medina with an opportunity now to try to take this wave. Bede will sit out the back, and Medina looking to improve on a 5.4. He's got a lot of speed and a clean wall to work with. First turn solid with a big fan of spray to the sky. Another belt off the lip. Big lofty float to cover some ground, right into a combination to finish. Durbridge with the answer. Huge carve. Right into a snap, some foam on the face. But he'll still fight through. Down carve off the lip. Another jam off the roof there, and he's out of there. A critical exchange there, a 3:20 on the clock. Medina had a healthy looking wall for that first turn.
Yeah, just a little unfortunate for Bede that had the whitewater residual from Medina's wave, so it made it a lot trickier, not as pretty, not as attractive. I think Medina is going to get the advantage on that exchange, Joe. Both guys with 5-point waves as backup, so both need to replace that. Bede looking for a 6.74, Medina looking to replace that 5.4, which I think he's done. So I think things are going to get a little dicey for Bede coming into the back part of the seat. Medina uses his priority on the first wave of the set, nice and clean. As he comes off the bottom, you can see finding the groove a little bit more intent on that maneuver. Back-to-back, solid backside snaps. Now he races down the line, hits the gas, up and over the top. And Medina finishing strong. A series of beautiful turns. We're going to see him better his situation. Bede Durbridge right behind. You can see him looking over his shoulder. Am I making the right decision? Okay, there's nothing coming. Let's go for it. Beautiful opening maneuver from Bede. And there we see that whitewater from Gabriel Medina's wave. Look how bumpy and lumpy it is. You can see it brings that indecisiveness into Bede's game plan. Not able to really hook into his turns, and decides to get out of that. Maybe get back out and get priority, who knows. Bede Durbridge, first turn, definitely the pick of the bunch, and then once that wave got the whitewater on it, it just really made it difficult for him to connect.
Beautiful carving work from Bede Durbridge, but like you said, Potts didn't have that clean, solid open face of Medina's wave. As you see the paddle battle for the last 90 seconds for priority. Bede's digging deep just to try to give himself a fighting shot. Medina's last is 7.83, is a keeper. Last of Durbridge 5.27, so now Bede needs even more, a 9.16 as we enter the final minute.
Yeah, well, there we go. I thought that was going to happen, Joe. Seems like that first wave of the set is the one, isn't it? Nice and clean on the face. Still waiting for the priority to be locked in here with 1 minute to go. Sets approaching. These boys need to know who's got the first roll of the dice.
Bede going over the first one. He knows he's running out of time, and he needs the best wave of the heat on the buzzer to earn a spot into round 4 to be matched up with Juran Duru. 45 seconds to go. Durbridge with first priority will take this wave. Needs a 9.16. Clean arc off the top. Good start so far for Bede. Slams on the brakes to get barreled. Jamming through a solid section. He comes out. hoping for the big finish. It's another barrel opportunity for Durbridge, and he'll slam on the brakes again. His third option deep in the pit, and that one's going to run off without him. Durbridge put everything on the line in that heat, was exhausted after his 6.67. Worked hard just to give him a shot to try to turn it, and that end section ran off without him.
Yeah, a little bit wobbly, you know, with that higher tide. I think once we see that tide start running out, we're going to see that line a little bit more razor edge, a little cleaner, a little bit better opportunity. Unfortunate there for Bede. That wave just did not cooperate, and we're going to see Medina move through into the next round.
Medina stays undefeated over Bede Durbridge in his career with 7 straight wins in one-on-one matchups, and continues on into round 4. Medina celebrating after the horn with a speedy little run at Jeffreys Bay overhead. And sometimes when Medina gets that winning feeling, he pulls off some incredible stuff after the matchup's over. And so far, Goofy's on the roll here. Lost 2 regular footers from the draw. We'll see if Owen and Zeke will keep that theme alive, or if Zeke could answer back for the natural footers. In bigger conditions, Damien Hobgood always felt he had an advantage with the size, and it's so far coming true on this day of action with a 15.83 total for Medina.
Well, Damien's got the crystal ball. That is for sure. And yeah, well, 2 goofy footers moving through in the first 2 heats. Amazing stuff.
And more action to follow here in a solid day at the Corona Open. JBay, Owen Wright takes on Ezekiel Lau. We'll bring in Ronnie Blakey and Peter Mel for the call right after this.
Good morning once again from Jeffreys Bay. We're here for the Corona Open, stop 6 on the World Surf League Championship Tour. And what a day it is. More pumping conditions for the event, and we're loving every second of it. And we've got another big heat coming your way now. It's going to be fantastic to watch. Yet again, we're going to see a regular footer taking on a goofy footer. The Goofies, Pete, it's been a long time between drinks here at JBay, but they are on fire this morning.
They sure are, and I can't wait for these next 2 heats. Again, that goofy foot against regular foot battle here in pumping JBay. I mean, this is as good as it gets. It is a bit difficult lineup. I mean, as far as finding those absolutely perfect bombs in 6-wave sets. But you know what? It is a great day of competition. I'm glad we got started nice and early, and I just keep looking out to see, and it's just non-stop lines.
Well, these 2 heats we get to call are going to be a lot of fun. Got a couple of very heavy weights here in the commentary booth, exchanging words. But out there in the lineup, we're going to see some of the biggest surfers in these next couple of heats battling it out. You'd have to say, what, light heavyweight surfers? Owen Wright and Zeke Lau. Zeke's performance yesterday has me thinking he could be a major threat to Owen Wright, and his chances are going a long way through this draw. I love the surfing he was laying down. His heat with Wiggly was maybe a little closer than what it should have been in retrospect. I just thought that the variety in his surfing, the power he was throwing down on those big open faces was really impressive.
I would totally agree, you know, and I think that these two match up really good together because of their size. One goofy foot, one regular foot, but I believe that wave choice really is going to separate the two today. Who is going to find those gems? You can already see a little bit of a different strategy going on. Owen going up the point, looking for those ones that are going to be outside more. Zeke is pulled down. And so, again, no priority in the beginning of these heats. So, the beginning, you could see a little bit of a tussle going, you know, who wants to be deeper, but they're setting their positions. As you look at Gabriel Medina, nice performance by him.
The 2014 world champ used this event to springboard his way up the Jeep leaderboard just last year. Again, he finds himself in a scenario where he's, well, way off the pace, considering how talented he is. He's back in 11th position, but already a couple of surfers falling out of the mix just above Medina on the ratings. And you just get the feeling he'll take that opportunity with both hands and really lock in something solid here at Jeffries.
I really like his approach. You know, a couple waves he had this morning, he was sitting off the bottom a little bit more than you would think at JBay, because it is a challenging wave where you feel like you need to race it constantly. But he was sitting back, and then sure enough, as soon as he comes out of his turn, he actually has a way to kind of have a pump mid-face and then sets up the longer turn, bottom turn, you know, and it really helps him to keep himself in front. But also, man, I mean, some of the turns he did on the last, he really started to come into rhythm towards the back half of that heat.
Well, let's hear from the man. He's with Rosie Hodge.
Well, the goofy footers are on a tear. Gabriel Medina, another one making it through. Just tell me about how much energy you're using out there. This wave is so long, and then coupled with the paddle back out.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, this wave is such a good wave, but it's good when you're in the wave. But the paddle back out, it's really hard because it's a long way, and here we can use the jet ski, so it's a little harder. And but yeah, I don't know. I got maybe 4 waves, and it's so good out there. I don't know, just big walls, and you can think a lot just before you go to the turn. So yeah, it's really fun out there, and I'm stoked to make it through this round.
And I've noticed that you've also been putting in a lot of time in the free surfs. Is that helping you with wave choice while you're surfing in the heats?
Yes, I've been surfing a lot out of the contest. I've been trying boards, and I got here like a week ago. So I got used to the cold and to the rocks. This morning I went dark diving, and I got the rocks in my hand, but it's all good. And yeah, I'm loving it.
Well, and just thinking about this contest and the opportunity, it's the halfway point in the year. How does this affect your world title? Is this really where you start to ramp up?
I'm not thinking about it. I already did some mistakes in the beginning of the year, but I don't know. Seems like when I don't think about it, I surf better. So I just don't think I won't think about it.
We're loving your surfing at the moment. Can't wait to see you in round 4.
Thank you, Rosie. Gabriel Medina, a heat score total of 15.83. Has had some pretty impressive rides out here over the years, Peter, a number of excellent scores, but I still think he's figuring JBay out, and that's scary moving forward. The waves, generally the bigger they are, the better it is for the goofy footers. He might just tap right into everything JBay can offer in 2017. Back out into the lineup now. Heat 3 of round 3 is really going to get started now with Ezekiel Lau from Hawaii opening up with a beautiful, nice rounded carve. Just a little dance there. Gets knocked up on one foot, but recovers well. Again, goes to that same move. This wave has a big sidewinding wash going through it, making it very difficult to surf. And Zeke loses contact He looked so sure-footed yesterday, a little wobbly on that ride, but the conditions playing a part.
Well, he looked even sure-footed in his free surf. We saw him surfing up at Boneyards earlier, and there were some big turns being had up there, but a little different as it turns the corner. You saw that big rib coming across the face, and it really did affect him, especially on that bigger turn when he went down. You know, it felt like he was feeling out those first maneuvers on that outside section. You saw him get off balance. As we take a look here, you know, good wave choice. It felt like, you know, only the one wave set, and this was it. And here you can see there is some bump that comes across the face of these waves, and that was what put him off balance. You know, this is a great opportunity here, and it felt like it was a great section, but the big roundhouse, and then now carrying a ton of speed into this section, and this was the money section. That was nice and steep, but that rib moved across the face right when he was in the middle of the maneuver, and that's what put him down. As you take a look now, even with the water angle, you see those swells, like 2-foot swells coming across the face, and there it was. He was able to steer through that one. It almost put him in a good spot right here. But again, that rib moved through it right when he was doing the maneuver. And let's take a look at what went wrong here. Again, look at the section from this angle. But there is that rib right in the face. It almost steepens. And then what's going to happen is it's going to fold away and flatten out. That's where you see right there, that rib right at the exact same time as he's doing the turn. Puts him off balance and he goes down. Really an unfortunate error there, because that could have been nice to be able to put some pressure right onto Owen Wright. Being that there wasn't a two-wave exchange, it would have been all Zeke Lau, and then he would have been able to get out there for some, get in that priority rotation.
23 years of age, sitting 23rd on the ratings. Owen Wright a lot higher on the leaderboard at the moment. Having a look at his first wave, a good start. Has a look down the line and doesn't like what he sees. Could have potentially pulled into that section. What was going through his mind there, Pete?
You know, good question. I mean, I'm sure he would have known there was a couple waves in the set, but I think he wants those steeper walls, and he felt like that one looked like it was going to go into some deeper water, so he decided to kick out. He keeps priority rather than taking all that time and getting down the line and only receiving a 5.
Well, he sees something he likes here and starts off with a big hit right in the pocket. Driving down the line, bashes once again. Disappearing for a moment as he rode out of that turn. A good indication of just how tight in the pocket he serves. And this wave has a nice big section for him to finish on. Still looking for more down the line. Just gets a little hung up in the white water there. He'll go down. 24 minutes to go. And Owen is about to drop the biggest number of this heat.
Well, I feel like those turns were some of the biggest we've seen all morning, especially on that backhand. Really tight in the pocket, like you had said. Perfectly placed. Right in the steepest part of the section, right in the hook. You know, that's that critical section, that steep part. And the turn he does, beautiful arc. Take a look here, and it's right off the gates, right out of it. It goes straight up, connects with it, off the bottom again, times it, straight in the hook. That one there, beautiful. 2 in a row, and a third. Had to turn underneath it as this next section sets up. But look, again, right in the steepest part of the wave, free falls down. 3 solid turns. Even though I didn't make it, I feel like this number is going to be a big number just because of how strong those maneuvers were. I mean, take a look here. It's a good size set wave, but there, just so steep in the face. Somehow hangs on that last maneuver. Nice work there for Owen Wright. But just look at how perfectly placed. And that vertical approach, when that nose is going straight up, and that's where the backhanders have the advantage because they're able to go straight up into that section. Forehand, you're not going to be able to have that ability. The one thing about the forehand is you're able to kind of dry out your turns, whereas on the backhand, you make these really tight arcs. So a little point of difference, but look at that, just straight up into it. 3 falls down, no worries, 3 big turns, and there's that big number.
There is just that little subtle approach to the lip. Owen, places like Snapper, he will get that board straight up, 12 o'clock, and drive up into that lip. Here he takes a little bit more of a down the line approach and he hooks that board around. It allows him, Pete, to get a bit more momentum coming out of those maneuvers.
It's a bit faster out of the maneuver, out of that transition. I agree. It's completely a little bit different approach, whereas, you know, Snapper's slightly slower, so you can get more vertical, and then he drifts the tail. Here, you need to carve through it and accelerate out of the maneuver.
Looking at these two surfers and their approaches, even making some comparisons, I think Zeke, Pete, in my opinion, he gets out there on the open face, and what he lacks in surfing the critical part of the wave. He makes up for power and just how much rail he's able to bury. Yesterday, definitely Wiggly surfing a little tighter to the pocket, but Zeke, much more power. As a result, he's able to sort of generate just as many points out on the open face. But in a matchup, I think, with Owen Wright, he's got to be careful not to get too far away from that bowl, because Owen is going to place those moves on set waves right there under the lip every time he gets the opportunity.
So true, and it looks like a different lineup today. It is bigger. It's a much broader wall. You know, the one thing that you were talking about yesterday, too, is that when he does do those maneuvers out on the face, he's got some variety in which he does execute those moves. He does that layback snap. He'll down carve it. He'll bring the arm in front. So he shows us a little different look each time he's doing that type of maneuver. You know, he's going to have to do that today against Owen. I mean, right now, big number on the board for Owen, you know, and Zeke's on the heels.
He's definitely capable of hitting a wave tight in the pocket, too. We saw that on some of his finishing moves yesterday. But, I mean, if you're getting big numbers, doing what you're doing, don't change things. It just might become an issue when the judges start looking at what these guys are doing on that outside section. A 9-point ride for the Australian, and the Hawaiian now looking for an 8.07.
And that's that, you know, a pressure applied by the top seed. I mean, he chose the right wave in a set. He let Zeke take one down the line. You know, it didn't really turn into anything special. As you look back on yesterday here, little different conditions, not as big. You see Wiggly, he's going to have that same, so backside against front side. You know, Wiggly's going to be in that tighter pocket, but his maneuvers were just, you know, kind of similar each and every time. And that's where I feel like the point of difference for me, for Zeke, was that he was able to kind of mix it up and show us a little different look from the forehand.
Definitely. And I guess the big thing for Zeke is this was a pretty close heat with Wiggly. And in my opinion, Owen has everything that Wiggly does and more. So Zeke's going to have to ramp things up again, despite the fact he surfed so well yesterday. I just love surfers that once they decide to turn that board over, they do it with purpose. And,
yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Zeke's one of those strong surfers that will do that. I mean, it's 110% each and every maneuver. You know, and he's trying to carry as much speed as he possibly can into those maneuvers. Fun heat to watch yesterday in this matchup. And of course, it's happening once again today in bigger conditions, Owen against Zeke.
Love them watching this rookie class in their first roll through the schedule. You know, Jeffreys Bay, such a difficult wave to get dialed in. And Zeke just had a monster heat score total yesterday.
He did. Again, just watching this over again, you just see so much variety. Everything he did was so much different each and every maneuver on one wave. So you gotta, you know, that's the criteria. You gotta show variety, and he's done that. And that's what the advantage, I guess, with the forehand is you're able to get a little bit more variety.
That's what he'll be looking for against the Australian here. Looking for that wave that has that nice clean face that he can present the full buffet of maneuvers. Speaking of which, I need to lay off. The food is so good over here in South Africa.
I got Potts, the super cook. He's just been giving us all sorts of variety. He's got some speed, power, and flow, combination of major foods.
Yep.
It's been, yeah, you're right. I'm trying to keep myself lean, but man.
He's pretty serious about his cooking.
He is.
See him walking around the event site with a tea towel on his shoulder. 18 minutes to go here, and some lines approaching. It's been relentless since first light.
Well, I had a chat with Richard Marsh, and he asked me, oh, you think it's bigger today? And I'm like, that's hard to tell. And literally 30 seconds later, an 8-foot set came through. And I went, well, you know what, dog, I think it did come up a little bit. And, you know, it could conceivably even get stronger and bigger. I mean, looking at the Surfline forecast, it is pumping through today. You've got the high tide still. Hasn't even reached that higher tide, so you've got the swell kind of filling in with that. And then I can just imagine what's going to happen this afternoon. And remember, we had those kind of midday, buttery, kind of mid-tide conditions. You know, the middle of this draw is just going to have, I mean, it would be really tough as a competitor not to just lose your marbles. It'd almost be best probably to just step away, you know, and give yourself an hour or two not looking at the waves, because you know it's going to be good. And that anticipation would just physically drain you.
We've got lines approaching. We're going to check in with Sean Thompson. Sean, that ride of Owen's came through at a 9. What did you make of it?
I thought it was a fantastic ride. What was interesting is that he got a 9-point ride with no tube. I think it's the best ridden backside wave I've seen since I've been down here at JBay. Just flawless timing. And when he was rotating off the bottom to jam up to the lip, you know, I was going, man, he's going to go further down the line. He went absolutely vertical and just did those huge carves. So really well rewarded by the judges. And out the back, we have a massive set with Zeke up.
Well, let's see what the rookie can do, trying to get himself back in this heat. Paces himself through this first section. Now just standing back on that tail, letting the wave dictate what move he's going to go for. Put some pressure on the back foot, skips for a moment. Recovers well though, and through to the inside with a massive hook, and sets up this barrel, driving through the tube. And he's going to whip through another clean arc there. Perfect conditions here at Jeffreys Bay as Lau finds more coverage on the inside before kicking out in that morning light.
Really unfortunate for Zeke to have his back foot come off on that, you know, second turn of this wave. It'll definitely affect the score, although he did make up for it. A couple big turns and a barrel through the inside section. Definitely going to be his best wave. But look on the outside. Owen Wright on wave number 2. Much bigger wave. Beautiful carve. Roundhouse cutback to set this wave up. See how smooth he is? You know, he's not having any troubles dealing with the bigger size wave. And look at that turn. Just figure eights all the way up the face. Perfectly timed. Another big section. And that barrel right there. I mean, talk about trying to show variety on the back end. He has just done that. And look at this set wave. He's just beautiful stuff. I mean, he looked so easy at, like, it just was at ease. And the thing about laying off the bottom, you're able to do with the mid face is to be able to go vertical like that. And he perfectly times that section as he sets up the next one here. And look, he's laying off the bottom. His eyes are down the line as he sets up this barrel. Just a little snap under the lip. Perfectly placed in a big open hole. As he comes up underneath it again, and this wave starts to run off without him, but he had already done 3 massive turns and a barrel. Nice work for Owen.
Good morning, Strata Wasilewski. How did it look from out there in the lineup?
You see it right there on the replay. The wave just was coming down the line. He was holding a line up into the lip to start it out. You know, he really found a beautiful bomb. You know, he got a nice sweep there, comes around the corner, and this inside section just racetracking, just so beautiful. Up into the bowl again, big snap right there, turns it right back in underneath the whitewater. Just beautiful surfing. I mean, these waves are so perfect. It's just unbelievable. Just gouging off the top right there. Look at all these, just perfect little tube time on the inside. Now, he comes to the inside again, just looks at everybody on after this. He's just having so much fun out there. It's just an unbelievable perfection as these waves grind through the inside. That light right there, he looked back at the beach and he just had this grin on his face kicking out. And then this wave, nice. I mean, look at this set. It's just so gorgeous. Absolutely perfect waves coming through out here at JBay. It really is. It's like a dream come true.
It is. Zeke, though, Pete, despite the fact he recovered so well on that wave and let go of some really quality maneuvers on the inside and found that barrel, he was on the wave that just ironed out the lineup.
for Owen, right? I mean, you could see, we're watching the replay, and you see that next wave. It's substantially bigger. It was much cleaner for Owen. It's just unfortunate that, and I was talking about wave choice and how important it is. Zeke thinking that first wave was going to have a kind of cleaner face on it, but it actually was the second wave. And Owen was on it, and it's another exchange where he's going to have at least a point higher difference. And so Owen's running away with this one.
7.83 for Owen Wright. And the real shame for the Hawaiian is that his 6.5, it just wasn't enough to keep him out of combination. Because you could be chasing a 10-point ride today and get that opportunity. No dramas at all.
That's it, exactly. So now, you know, we're down to back third of the heat. And you're hearing a combo. I mean, it really is very smart of Owen in the beginning of this heat to apply the pressure. And now it's been combined. over and over, much bigger pressure for Zeke Lau, you know, right from the gates, right out of the gates it started, and now he's going to feel it big time being in a combo with 12 minutes to go. He's going to have to, you're more than likely going to have to, you're going to feel like you're going to do more than you really have to do.
Well, just over 11.5 minutes to go. Priority with Owen Wright. He has the heat lead. Ezekiel Lau chasing 2 waves to turn this one. Welcome back to the Corona Open JBay. We are 5 events down, 5 different winners. One of those event winners is out there in the lineup, chasing his 2nd victory here at JBay.
Would you agree with me that halfway through the year, that the waves this season have been one of the best ever?
I think so.
Right? I mean, we look at what we saw at Snapper Rocks, what we saw at Margaret River, we had North Point, and if you look at Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach, Bells was pumping pretty much the entire event. Oi Rio Pro, we moved to Sakurama. It's much more high performance wave up there. And then here, JBay, it's been pumping, literally pumping from round 1 all the way now to round 3.
Let's have a look at the Jeep leaderboard too, because we have seen some big upsets already. Adriana de Souza falling out of the mix in the first heat of the day to the rookie, H1-3. We also saw Kaloe and Dino and Sebastian Zeitz tumble from the draw. So some room to move for those surfers in the middle of the pack. Let's see if they capitalise. Just under 9 minutes to go here. Owen Wright, he's on a bit of a tear out here at the moment. A 9-point ride on his 2nd wave, a 7.83 in his 3rd. And he hasn't even really made a complete ride yet from start to finish. It's just the quality of the turns that he's laying down at the moment are fetching these big scores.
Yeah, well, you saw the beginning of the heat, he was well up the point, so he was wanting to accomplish that. But, you know, he ended up sliding down the point, getting that 9. He has bigger set waves. It's nearly impossible, really, to not get sucked down the face a little, or sucked down the point a little bit, because that best section is right here in front of us in the impossibles area. You got to be there for it.
Such a freight training wave this is. It just starts and just reels so quickly. A lot of guys just put their head down. You know, the greyhounds on the championship tour, Fanning, Felipe, they race down the line as fast as they can. They're able to do turns in the process. But then there's a couple of guys, they just seem to stand back on their tail pad and really assess what the wave is doing before they launch into those major manoeuvres. Owen Wright, Geordie Smith, Joel Parkinson. Owen at the moment, I think, is taking more time to assess what major turns he's going to do than any other competitor on the championship tour.
Well, he's having a sip of espresso off the bottom, just chilling, and then once he gets there, he explodes. I mean, that one shot that we had before we went to break, where it just kind of showed the slow motion shot of it. I mean, that was one of the best and most clean and precise turns on a huge set wave that we've seen at JBay. I mean, that still shot is going to be amazing.
I mean, when you're riding a wave, you're always on your way to a destination at some point. But yeah, Owen just seems to stand back. He just really bides his time off the bottom and He's planning some really big turns and some solid set waves out there at the moment.
Even the roundhouse cutback, which is not a big, high-scoring maneuver that he did on that outside section, what it really did was set him up perfect for the section, which was the steepest section. So he was able to do a nice smooth maneuver, but then it came into the steeper part, and he was perfectly placed, he had the good speed, and then just set it there. And he was, all of it was really laid out because of the bottom turn and how long he sat there and watched it and said, okay, let's see now.
Some surfers use those in-between moves, the ones that don't collect a lot of points but give you flow to get down the line and find those sections, those big scoring sections. But
one of the most difficult things to do, because you've got this moving medium that's always changing. So to be able to do a maneuver that links you perfectly into the major maneuver, it's a challenge. It really is a challenge, and it's hard, and experience really comes into play. Wave choice obviously is a big part of it as well.
So just under 6 minutes to go now, and this is where life is going to get very difficult for Ezekiel Lau, because it's a long paddle back to the top of the point here.
Limited jet ski assist. They've got the ability to get picked up past impossibles down into the tube section. They'll get a ride up to the bottom keyhole, but it's really, between 20 and 50 yards only. So you're still paddling, which is another 3 to 5 minutes just to get to the top of the point.
And why is it that we don't have that jet ski assist here at Jeffreys Bay?
Well, it's mainly because of, this is a very sensitive area. A lot of sea life, a lot of stuff going on here, so they don't want to utilize the skis too much. Also, the fact that it could be where we see rips in the face coming from the wakes. But ultimately, I think it's, keeping this area.
I like it too. It's a real test of the surfer's fitness, especially when you get a day where you're surfing multiple heats. You're paddling a lot. Sometimes surfers opt for the runaround.
It could change the outcome. Take a look again to see him off the bottom, but then that last second, he's able to just rip the heels in and go straight up. And then look at this again, off the bottom, no double pumping bottom turns. I love that. And then the execution right in the peak of the, it's like peak action. You want to do it at the climax of the steepest part of the wave. You want to have it be a really high impact maneuver and really just showcase it. It's like the spotlight's there, but that one too, that's the 9-point ride. That last section was a meaty section. That wasn't easy to do, and he made it look really easy.
Time ticking by, and Zeke Lau knows that he needs 2 rides, so he goes on this one and swings hard on that first section, swinging the tail right around a second time now. But this wave, it's one of those ones that's kind of bending out the sea. It's not sticking to that inside sandbar the way he wants, so he kicks out. What a shame, because it was such a quality start.
Well, it felt like he was, he needs 2 waves, so he kind of had to force the issue there. Try and get that 6.84 to put it down to 1 wave, but that's the wave's not going to do it. Doesn't look like he's given up, though, that's for sure, which we love from Zeke. You would have thought you liked his chances today?
I loved his chances. Actually, I think I felt like the momentum from yesterday was going to see him take this one out, but Owen just does such a good job at, I think, just maintaining that smooth approach off the bottom. He's able to extend that bottom turn. He can flatten that board out, cover a large amount of distance before really digging in and redirecting up into the bowl. And with only a few turns laid down, really, he's been able to generate some solid scores and a healthy heat score total of 16.83.
Would have liked Owen's strategy very beginning. He wanted to stay deep on the point, which he did, and it really helped him to get him on the best waves and apply that early pressure. Even now you can just see he's not affected whatsoever by Zeke paddling up underneath. At 2:25 to go, it's I would say it's impossible to be able to turn to and get himself in the front.
Just one previous head-to-head matchup between these two competitors in the second round at Margaret River, won by Owen Wright. And on track to take a second victory over Ezekiel. Time winding down, 2 minutes to go, with 3.17 on that last wave.
So you think about the Goofy Foots and the drought they've had sitting at the #1 spot in this event. You got 3 Goofy Footers looking like they're going to be in round 4. So good chances we're going to see that top half. A few Goofy Footers get themselves all the way to the final.
There's 7 Goofy regular footed battles in this 3rd round.
It is a lot, right? I mean, over half the heats.
And already it looks like 3 Goofy Footers through to the 4th round. So just over a minute remaining now.
Well, that bottom half of the draw, you got Italo and Matt Wilkinson. The top half has most of the Goofy Footers.
Another big heat coming up next is going to be awesome to watch. A good battle between 2 solid rookies. They'll be swinging hard. Connor O'Leary up against Federico Moraes. That's just around the corner, but 50 seconds to go now. And Zeke Lau's going to get a wave here. Owen's going to use his priority, trying to drop a 7.83. So really rub some salt in the wounds here. A medium-sized wave. Starting to line up nicely through to the inside. Owen, you can see a little busier now on this wave. It has a quicker pace to it. Doesn't look like that one will go into his top 2, but he's been on today 4 waves. He gave up on his first ride pretty early on, but a really just strong performance from start to finish.
I feel like it's the best heat performance we've seen for sure today. You know, this wasn't easy conditions. As perfect as it is, it's probably one of the more challenging days because of trying to find that high quality wave and just get yourself big numbers.
He was a world title contender in 2015. He missed the opportunity. 2017, he's jumped straight back into the mix, and he is through to round 4 here at JBay with a heat score total of 16.83 in the 3rd round. Stick around, more action coming from the Corona Open right after this.